Marcus Aurelius is remembered as one of the greatest Stoic philosophers in history. Furthermore, he stood out as one of the most notable emperors of his time, being recognized for his exceptional ability to deal with emotions and reason clearly. However, before we delve into how he achieved this mastery of logical thinking, it is essential to understand the significant challenges he faced in achieving this remarkable level of wisdom. The emperor, occupying one of the highest positions of power in the ancient world, had access to virtually everything he could want. However, instead of seeking the mere fulfillment of personal desires, Marco Aurelio directed his life to the search for virtue, dedicating himself in a unique way to impartiality and justice. Analysis of his path to mastery and logical thinking reveals not only his personal quest for excellence, but also his renunciation of a selfish lifestyle in favor of a higher purpose. This commitment to noble values, amid the privileges and challenges of his position, highlights the depth of his Stoic philosophy and its lasting influence. During his reign, Aurelius devoted time to creating a series of autobiographical writings, now known as the Meditations, which became one of the most significant texts in Stoic philosophy. In these meditations, Aurelio offers guidance on how to improve yourself. He wrote these texts for his own reflection and personal improvement. The main focus was to adopt a cosmic perspective and critically evaluate one's own judgment, both in relation to oneself and others. As the leader of a powerful empire that faced several wars during his rule, Marcus Aurelius not only commanded armies, but also applied his own Stoic philosophy to deal with the stress and worries inherent in his position. His commitment was to be the best and most trustworthy leader possible, and to achieve this goal, he incorporated Stoic principles into his everyday life. Stoicism, far from being just an ancient theory, became an inspiring practice of thought, life and action for Aurelio. The Stoics deeply believed that doing what was right, even in the face of difficulties, was the key to achieving lasting happiness. To act correctly, sound judgment and rational thought were considered essential. In the case of Aurelio, a leader in a context of constant military and political challenges, the application of these principles was intrinsically linked to his ability to make fair and balanced decisions. As we deepen our understanding of how he integrated Stoic philosophy into his leadership, we glimpse not just a ruler, but a thinker committed to moral and ethical values in a complex and challenging world. So with that in mind, in this video, we'll explore 6 important lessons that can help you develop a rational mind, inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, so you can think more clearly. First lesson: embrace the virtues. Marcus Aurelius taught that it is important to explore deeply within oneself, for there is a wellspring of goodness ready to flow if we keep looking. Virtue consists of doing the right things, acting correctly and fairly. This type of behavior not only benefits you and the people around you, but also contributes to a better society. The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of everything and everyone, so doing good for the whole also resulted in personal benefits. The Stoics argued that those who were more rational were more dedicated to the good of all. They thought carefully before acting, seeking what was good for everyone. On the other hand, they stated that those who do not act correctly may not know what is right. In life's complicated situations and full of surprises, virtues are like stars that illuminate the correct path and help keep our feet on the ground. Therefore, people rich in virtues generally have a calm and balanced posture. Adopting virtuous qualities according to Stoic philosophy requires a deep understanding of the 4 fundamental virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Let's start with the virtue of wisdom. For the Stoics, being wise involves more than simply acquiring intellectual knowledge. In fact, Stoic wisdom encompasses the ability to discern between good, evil, and neutral, as well as all the nuances present in between. It is a constant quest to transcend the influences of emotions, allowing reason to govern our decisions and actions. When facing a dilemma, Stoic wisdom enables us to analyze options clearly and impartially, ensuring that our choices align with ethical and rational principles. Courage, as another essential Stoic virtue, goes beyond the absence of fear. From the Stoic perspective, courage is the ability to act correctly regardless of the circumstances or emotions present. This implies facing challenges and difficulties with bravery and resolution, maintaining integrity and ethics, even in adverse times. Stoic courage, therefore, is not just physical audacity, but also the moral strength that drives us to act righteously, even when faced with uncertainty and opposition. These virtues form the basis of Stoicism, providing a practical guide for cultivating an ethical and meaningful life. Courage does not imply eliminating fear, desire, or anxiety. Rather, it means making a conscious decision to move forward, overcoming emotional barriers. In simple terms, courage is acting despite feeling afraid, such as asking your boss for a raise. It motivates action for the greater good or the accomplishment of tasks, even when the outcome is uncertain. On the other hand, cowardice would be avoiding doing what should be done, even though you want to. Next, we have justice. Wisdom is the basis of justice, involving a commitment to what is right and impartial, both for oneself and for others. The Stoics considered it a duty to themselves, to other human beings, and to society as a whole. The notion of justice for the Stoics was reflected in the philosophy of John Locke in the future, who stated in political and social discussions, "I do not agree with a single word that you say, but I will defend to the death the right to say it." And lastly, temperance, also known as moderation, means maintaining a balance between extremes. It involves exercising self-control, restraint, and discipline. Marcus Aurelius highlighted the human capacity for self-regulation, which differentiates us from animals. Temperance prioritizes long-term well-being over instant gratification. Think of a common example: a plate of food. Filling your plate until you can no longer eat may bring momentary pleasure, but it harms your health, starting moments after indulgence, with difficulty in digestion. By exercising temperance, there would be moderation in the amount of food on the plate. Wisdom is crucial to determine the right amount before stopping eating. Stoicism classifies things and actions as good, bad, and indifferent. Seeking good, avoiding evil, and adopting indifference according to personal preference were guiding principles. Deviating from these virtues was tantamount to promoting evil, stealing, disrespecting, acting recklessly, or abstaining from good. Indifferent actions, like taking a leisurely walk, involve none of this. These principles offer more than just personal improvement. They promote collaboration with society. Aligning your actions with these virtues ensures that you always follow the path of righteousness guided by reason, thus cultivating a calm and peaceful mind. Second lesson: reduce the amount of what you do. Making life simpler is crucial to living with ease and clarity, but that doesn't mean being lazy. The Stoics valued diligence, that is, being productive, while highlighting the importance of moderation. This may seem contradictory. How can we simplify our lives without losing focus? Marcus Aurelius realized that we often get involved in things that are not really important. These days, there are so many entertainment options and distractions that it's easy to get distracted from essential tasks. When he talks about simplification, he also means reducing the number of words. Many times, our conversations are empty and lead us nowhere, wasting our time and energy. So simplifying means focusing on what's really important. It's not just about eliminating the superfluous, but also about working smarter and more efficiently. One of the great advantages of this method is that by simplifying our lives, we can do less but do better. The constant search for simplicity requires a conscious approach. As Marcus Aurelius advised, if you can eliminate something, you will have more time and peace of mind. Constantly ask yourself the question, is this really necessary? Additionally, it is also important to question unnecessary assumptions to eliminate superfluous actions that often accompany them. By asking these questions, we free up more space in our minds to think clearly and rationally. An effective practice to stay focused on our daily activities is to create a to-do list the night before. This allows us to plan in advance what we need to accomplish when we wake up in the morning, which has a calming effect on the mind. By pre-planning our days, we eliminate one worry from our mind and can face our tasks with greater clarity and determination. Simplifying life does not mean giving up diligence, but rather improving productivity by focusing on the essentials. By eliminating distractions, we gain freedom from the habit of multitasking, allowing us to do deeper, more valuable work. This approach seeks to balance diligence with simplicity, resulting in a more meaningful and less stressful life. Simplifying is not synonymous with laziness, but a search for efficiency and intentionality. By reducing unnecessary complexities, we create space for what truly matters, promoting a balanced and fulfilling lifestyle. Simplicity is, therefore, a valuable tool for optimizing the daily journey and cultivating well-being and personal fulfillment. Third lesson, use a broader perspective. Marcus Aurelius, when mentioning Plato, highlights the importance of having a broad view. When talking about people, it is best to consider the whole situation. Observing from a distance is crucial to maintaining a clearer mind. In the confusion of life, we often find ourselves in the middle of problems, and each challenge seems overwhelming, leaving us without hope. It's like being in a crowd. It can feel like the whole city is stuck in a traffic jam. However, moving to a location a little further away can reveal a completely different reality. Essentially, as we step back and contemplate the intricate tangle of our world and existence, we realize how minute our personal experiences are and how tiny we are in the vast scheme of things. This shift in perspective reveals the expansive realm that lies beyond our immediate encounter. People often overlook the truth that their own encounters and viewpoints are not the only ones worthy of consideration, even in their own lives. This is the ego speaking louder than conscience. Similarly, when we walk down the street and feel like everyone is watching us, it is our ego inflating to give us a sense of importance. Consider someone who has had an unfavorable experience with cats. This person may find it difficult to understand that cats can be loving companions for other people unless they intentionally recognize the possibility of different experiences from time to time. It's important to take a step back and ask yourself, what am I missing or not understanding? This practice of reflection brings several benefits. For example, think about the situation where you need to choose between staying in your current job or looking for a new position available elsewhere. This decision can seem daunting, especially if you're not sure whether one of the options will meet your deepest desires. While your current job provides security and the prospect of more responsibility with a promotion, the lure of a better salary is tempting. You may feel confused or even trapped in this dilemma. However, there are several unexplored perspectives below the surface. Have you considered venturing into a completely different field of endeavor or exploring a side venture that complements your current work? Or perhaps pursue a passion to divert your focus from tasks you find less appealing? It is quite possible that many unexplored opportunities in life are escaping your attention. Taking a broad view rather than just focusing on immediate concerns is very helpful when making informed decisions. Broadening your perspective is not only valuable for setting priorities, but also for shaping your opinions and forming a comprehensive judgment. Considering all possibilities in a given situation is essential. Furthermore, taking a step back means moving away from prejudices and personal points of view, which helps you not let past facts and emotions take over your vision. Temporarily, letting go of your beliefs and desires can provide a new point of view, leading you to reflect on the people around you and your responsibilities to them. Sometimes simple actions like throwing trash on the floor can seem unimportant and not affect the world. However, when we take a step back and look at the whole picture, we realize that if everyone acts the same way, it can have a big impact. Even if you see yourself as the protagonist of your story, there are many other people as protagonists in their own stories, and they face similar situations. The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of everything in the world and that the overall well-being of the planet is connected to our own well-being. Therefore, it is crucial to take a step back and consider not only our individual lives, but also the impact of our choices on the world when facing challenges or making decisions. You may wonder some things. This can be done in the moment or later, perhaps when you are reflecting on your day, whether during a walk or when writing in a diary, something Marcus Aurelius greatly appreciated. The most common questions to ask yourself are, what would be the long-term impacts of my choice or action? How might someone else's view of this be different from mine? Do I know anyone in a similar situation or with similar goals to mine who could offer help? Does my choice or action influence my well-being? Does it affect the well-being of those around me? Are there other options that I haven't yet considered? Taking time to consider all aspects of the world helps you understand your actions, thoughts, life, and decisions more clearly. This provides a comprehensive view of the world, freeing you from limitations, prejudices, or unnecessary doubts. Fourth lesson, improve your perception. Marcus Aurelius said, "Decide not to feel harmed, and you will not be harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you will not be harmed." Stoicism teaches us to control how we interpret things, that is, our perception. Normally, we label everything we encounter, every event we experience, every person we meet, using categories such as good, bad, boring, fun, beautiful, or ugly. However, this way of thinking can be tiring and can make our lives worse without us realizing it. This is because our ego influences our minds, putting us on a pedestal and putting others down in our judgments. For example, if we label every interaction of a difficult day as horrible, we will see the entire day as terrible even if parts of it were good. If we say that a party was boring, we will only remember the boring part, ignoring other positive experiences we had there. We often allow our emotions to influence our first opinions about things, which often makes them less rational. In fact, they are often very irrational. Furthermore, our tendency to evaluate every moment of our lives is linked to the propensity to exaggerate things, making them more negative than they really are. For example, if your partner ends the relationship, you may say that he broke your heart, rather than acknowledging the simple fact that his feelings for you have changed. This way of thinking directly influences your feelings. It's not the event itself that makes you feel bad, but the way you unconsciously choose to interpret it. Therefore, what occurs is not just an event and a reaction to it, but rather an event, its interpretation or judgment about it, and only then, a reaction to that interpretation. Stoics, on the contrary, advise people to be cautious when evaluating everything they encounter and the situations they face. One way to act cautiously is to reconsider your judgments, which basically involves looking at them from a broader perspective, forgetting the first impulse and evaluating something in a more optimistic, impartial, and rational way. How about trying to see that party that seemed boring in a different way? Think of it as an event where you got the chance to explore a new place and meet new people. Even if you don't connect with anyone, instead of seeing it as a negative, see it as an opportunity to try something new. Training yourself to not instantly judge everything based on your first impressions and emotions is a great way to start improving your perspective on life. Whenever you form an opinion about something, ask yourself, does this make sense? What am I basing my opinion on? Is there a more positive perspective I could consider? Marcus Aurelius highlighted the importance of perspective in the way we face difficulties. He argued that adversities are not intrinsically difficult, but our interpretation of them significantly influences our experience. In other words, the way we judge and perceive challenges shapes our emotional response. The famous phrase, "the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts," reflects this understanding, highlighting the direct connection between our thoughts and our emotional well-being. Within Stoic philosophy, the idea of seeing every adversity as an opportunity or source of learning is emphasized. This means that when facing difficulties, there is an approach to transforming these challenging moments into experiences of personal growth. This concept is embodied in the Stoic exercise known as turning the obstacle upside down. This practice encourages us to revisit our perceptions about challenges, seeking to understand them not just as obstacles, but as opportunities to develop resilience and wisdom. Thus, Stoic philosophy offers a proactive and positive approach to dealing with life's adversities. Imagine that you have a wonderful garden which you are very proud of and take care of with care. Now think that one day this garden becomes full of larvae and parasites, which will certainly cause frustration. These unwanted creatures are obstacles to your goal of keeping the garden beautiful, strong, and healthy. However, in this situation you may see an opportunity for good. It's a chance to practice patience, Study plants to improve your gardening skills. Understand how to strengthen your plants and keep larvae and parasites at bay. All these learned skills and care will result in more robust and healthy plants. Furthermore, if this happens again, you will already have the necessary knowledge to deal with the situation. On this topic, Marcus Aurelius famously expressed the idea, "What opposes action promotes action. What blocks the path becomes the path." So instead of overjudging everything, take a moment to look at things objectively, and you may realize that life is simpler and clearer than you imagined. In these situations, pause, take a deep breath and ask yourself, why did this happen? Then think about how you can prevent this from happening again. Each situation has a more positive and a more negative interpretation. By adjusting your mindset, you'll find that things don't upset you as much as they used to, and you'll move through life with a calmer, more peaceful conscience. Fifth lesson, learn to control your emotions. Marcus Aurelius advises us not to allow our feelings to become more important than our ideas. We must avoid being false, selfish, and not easily angered. Following your feelings is very different from acting with your head, and there is an important reason for that. Nothing disrupts our thinking more than our own emotions. Therefore, if we always want to think clearly, it is essential to learn to control our emotions. Specifically, according to Marcus Aurelius, anger does more harm than good. Controlling our emotions does not mean hiding them or pretending they don't exist. For example, if someone hurts us and we feel very angry, simply denying it or covering it up will not make the anger go away. She will continue to be present. Instead, controlling emotions such as anger means, according to the Stoics, redirecting those feelings differently. So, the next time you feel angry, ask yourself what you can do with that feeling. The option of yelling at those who hurt you may seem appealing, but will it actually lessen your hurt or improve your situation? Will it contribute to the growth of the person who hurt you? In short, reflect on your inclinations and assess whether they are constructive. Many people transform emotions such as anger, fear, or even despair into fuel for something more productive, directing this emotional energy in a different way, such as physical activity at the gym, for example. However, it is crucial to recognize that the expression of emotions can vary from person to person, and what works for some may not be suitable for others. If turning anger into productive energy isn't enough, look for helpful ways to express your emotions. You may be able to achieve more positive results by talking calmly to the person who hurt you, explaining your feelings, and trying to understand their point of view. Open, empathetic communication can be a powerful tool for resolving conflict and building healthy relationships. Therefore, explore different approaches to dealing with your emotions and choose the one that best suits your personality and the specific situation. You can also journal your feelings, play a video game, or choose any other activity that helps. You deal with your anger. Another emotion, such as anxiety or fear, cannot simply be ignored but can be redirected. Instead of allowing anxiety to paralyze you, use it as motivation to challenge yourself, take actions that trigger it, and acknowledge its presence. This will not only help you better understand the source of your anxiety, but it will also help you overcome it. For example, if you feel too afraid to ask your boss for a raise, many people see this fear as a reason to avoid taking action, allowing themselves to be controlled by anxiety. Others may move on, viewing anxiety as an obstacle to be suppressed and ignored. However, this is not necessary. Instead, view fear as something that can be expressed in healthy ways and even be helpful. Reflecting rationally, fear in this case has a beneficial meaning, indicating the desire to earn more money. Fear arises from the fear of the boss's judgment regarding your request. This leads you to consider all the things that could go wrong, provoking reflection on the boss's possible questions and counter-arguments that may arise. This way, you can prepare for these situations and create a plan for each possible scenario. However, most significantly, fear offers positive motivation to move forward, challenge yourself, and grow as an individual. It pushes you to prove yourself, to take the step not in spite of your fear, but in part because of it. Even though fear may initially create a mental barrier to requesting the raise, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The obstacle is the way. In this context, it's possible to be aware of anxiety throughout the process and think, it's amazing that I'm trying to do this anyway. When you can redirect intense emotions with ease, you will become a calm person regardless of the circumstances, and your emotions will not hinder your ability to think rationally and make intelligent decisions. Emotional control is essential to maintain a calm mind. Therefore, it is important to learn how to deal with anxiety, especially in challenging and tense moments. If you are having difficulty dealing with anxiety, I left a video in the first comment that can help you master these emotions, following the example of the Stoics. Take a look. 6th lesson. Start practicing the dichotomy of control. As Marcus Aurelius used to say, you have power over your mind, not over what happens externally. Recognize this and you will feel stronger. The idea of the dichotomy of control involves separating what we can control from what we cannot. Things like the weather, traffic, or what others think of you are out of your control. However, choices like how to dress, when to go out, and who to socialize with are within your control. So when you face something that makes you feel a specific way, ask yourself, is this in my control? If so, think about how to act. If not, you need to accept it and move on without letting it disturb you. Understanding this difference and acting accordingly can help clear your mind immediately. A crucial part of this is the concept of amor fati, which means loving fate. When you accept life and all the situations it brings, you will always find joy in life. We cannot avoid what is to come or choose circumstances that are beyond our control, like fate. However, we can choose to love our life no matter what. If, for example, you are not selected for a job that you have wanted for a long time, you may feel that there is no redemption in this situation. After all, you invested a lot of time and effort, tried hard, and were not chosen. In these situations, it can seem difficult to pretend that you love what fate has brought you. However, this is a mistake. Instead of viewing the fact that you didn't achieve your desire as something negative, look at it dispassionately and ask yourself, why didn't this work out? This will help you identify areas for improvement and adopt a positive attitude towards the situation. If the reason you didn't get the job was your fault, that's also something within your control. You can work to correct these failures and try again when a similar opportunity arises in the future. This way, you will have developed more skills and may even be hired at a higher salary than before. If the reason for not being selected was something external, such as hiring a family member of the company owner, there is no reason to worry. It was never in your control, which means the opportunity was never truly yours, and there's no point in getting upset about something that isn't real. Part of accepting destiny is moving away from fixed results and external indicators of success. In this case, it was not a loss or failure, as victory was impossible due to external factors that were beyond his control. Imagine, for example, that you aspire to be a picture painter. If you measure your success by the number of paintings in a collection you create, you're allowing your success to be controlled by the art market of the time. However, if you decide to measure your success by the degree of satisfaction with the pictures you paint or the amount of study and effort you put into your work, you will be in control of your own success. Detaching yourself from external metrics and focusing on the process allows you to stay focused on the things that are within your reach. Therefore, put everything outside your influence out of your mind and focus on doing everything you can to achieve your goals. Be aware that you may not achieve them and accept this possibility in advance. Focus on the process. Do your work with dedication and allow the result to be a natural consequence of your effort and commitment. If we only focus on the things we can control and choose to accept what doesn't go exactly the way we want, we will be more peaceful and satisfied no matter what happens. Have you ever reflected on this before? If you haven't thought about it, yet share it in the comments. I'll stay calm about what I can't control. Let's see how many people can benefit from this insight and have a more peaceful life. 7th lesson. Break the problem into smaller parts. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. When confronting a complex challenge, we seek an approach that harmonizes our mind with the vicissitudes of life. By adopting the Stoic wisdom of divide and conquer, a practice that not only breaks down the challenge into more manageable parts, but also resonates with the Stoic philosophy of accepting that which we cannot control. By breaking the problem into smaller parts, we become artisans of our own peace of mind. Each division is an opportunity to exercise discernment, deeply understanding all points of the situation. As Epictetus stated, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By applying this perspective, we not only demystify the challenge, but also cultivate the serenity necessary to face it. The Stoic practice of reflection before action aligns with the idea of pondering the fractional parts of the problem. In this process, the mind becomes an impartial observer, discerning between what is within our control and what is not. Thus, instead of being captive to anxiety in the face of complexity, we embrace each part as an opportunity for personal growth and development of Stoic virtues, such as courage in the face of difficulties. By adopting this Stoic mindset, problem-solving becomes a journey of transformation. Each challenge overcome is not only an external victory, but also an internal achievement, strengthening the Stoic virtue of wisdom. Therefore, when faced with the intricate tapestry of life, we can apply Stoic philosophy to transform adversity into opportunity, thus building not only pragmatic solutions, but also an inner fortress immune to external storms. So the next time you deal with these problems, ask yourself, is this problem really that big? Is there any way I can reduce it so I can think better? Is it possible to fragment it so that it is easier to resolve? Oftentimes, if you're having trouble really seeing a problem, try writing it down on paper. The fact is that when we can express exactly what is happening, it becomes easier to know how it affects us and how we can separate it into parts. The setting is simplicity. Once it is possible to express yourself and keep it simple, we can see how to think more clearly and deal with it in a more assertive way. To maintain this mental clarity and live in complete harmony with the world, you just need to know how to turn your back on life when it hurts you. Click on the video on your screen to see how to stay calm with these lessons from the Stoics.